What if I told you that one of the most bizarre survival tricks in the animal kingdom happens in a place you'd never expect, a turtle's backside? Picture a frozen pond in the dead of winter. The surface is solid ice. Below, a painted turtle lies buried in the mud, not moving for months. It can't come up for air, it can't even open its mouth. And yet, it survives. How? Because this turtle is breathing through its butt. It sounds like a joke, but it's one of nature's most brilliant and strange adaptations. A secret life support system hidden where nobody would think to look. And it's not just one or two species. Many freshwater turtles have this ability, especially those that hibernate underwater in cold climates where oxygen is scarce. So how does it work? And why would evolution choose such an unusual solution? To understand that, we need to dive into the challenges of being a turtle when winter comes. For most animals, freezing temperatures and ice-covered water mean certain death. But turtles have been around for over 200 million years. They've survived mass extinctions and ice ages because they adapt in extraordinary ways. One of their biggest challenges is oxygen. Like all reptiles, turtles breathe air. But during winter hibernation, they can't surface. If they tried, they'd freeze. So they stay submerged, sometimes for half the year, in water that holds very little oxygen. Their metabolism slows to a crawl. Their heart barely beats. They enter a state of suspended animation. But they still need oxygen, not much, but some. And that's where the backdoor approach comes in. The key is a special chamber called the cloaca. In turtles, the cloaca isn't just one thing. It's a multi-purpose opening used for reproduction, excretion, and in some species, respiration. Think of it like a Swiss Army knife of body parts, one opening, many functions. But in certain turtles, the cloaca has evolved into something even more remarkable, a kind of natural gill. The inner walls of the cloaca are lined with thin, highly vascularized tissues, meaning they're filled with tiny blood vessels. These tissues are so thin that oxygen can pass directly from the water into the bloodstream. At the same time, carbon dioxide, the waste product of respiration, diffuses out. It's a simple, elegant exchange, and it happens entirely through the rear end. Scientists call this cloacal respiration. And while it might sound inefficient for a hibernating turtle, it's a lifeline. But how did this evolve? It likely started as a side effect. Early turtles probably had moderately vascularized cloacal tissues, useful for absorbing water or ions. In environments where oxygen was limited, turtles with more blood vessels in that area gained a slight survival advantage. Over millions of years, that advantage grew. Species that hibernated in oxygen-poor water evolved more complex structures. Some even developed small, finger-like projections called bursae that increase surface area, much like the gills of a fish. This isn't their main way of breathing. When they're active, they use their lungs like other reptiles. But in a crisis, that backup system makes all the difference, and it's not just about oxygen. Cloacal respiration also helps turtles manage their chemistry. In low-oxygen environments, lactic acid can build up in their bodies, a byproduct of anaerobic metabolism. But some studies suggest the cloaca may help release that acid into the water, preventing a dangerous drop in blood pH. It's a two-in-one solution. Breathing and waste removal through one discrete portal. Of course, this adaptation comes with trade-offs. Breathing through your rear end isn't particularly efficient. It only works in cool water where a turtle's oxygen needs are low. In warmer water, their metabolism speeds up, and the cloaca can't supply enough oxygen. That's why you'll never see a turtle relying on this method in the summer. It's a specialized tool for a specific situation, winter survival, and it's not unique to turtles. A few other animals, like some species of freshwater fish and sea cucumbers, also use similar forms of intestinal or cloacal respiration. But turtles are among the most well-known masters of the technique. What's even more fascinating is how this affects their behavior and ecology. Turtles that can use cloacal respiration tend to live in colder regions. Think North America, Europe, parts of Asia. They hibernate in the mud at the bottom of ponds, lakes, and slow-moving rivers. Their heart rate drops to 1 beat every several minutes. They don't eat. They don't move. They exist in a kind of twilight state, kept alive by tiny bubbles of oxygen drifting through the water and into their bodies by the most unconventional route imaginable. When spring finally arrives and the ice melts, these turtles emerge, slow, groggy, but alive, ready to bask, feed, and mate. All because they mastered the art of breathing through their backsides. This strange ability raises bigger questions about evolution and survival. Why do some species develop such odd traits? Because when your environment pushes you to the brink, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be good enough. For turtles, good enough meant turning a multi-purpose opening into a temporary lung. It's not glamorous, it's not efficient, but it works. And in nature, that's often what matters most. The story of the turtle's cloaca is a lesson in humility, a reminder that survival isn't always about strength or speed. Sometimes it's about being creative with what you have, even if what you have is, well, your butt. If you were amazed by how turtles breathe through their butts, wait until you learn about the other unbelievable adaptations animals have developed to survive. Subscribe to Animal Fact Vault for more wild insights, and let us know in the comments, what's the most bizarre animal fact you've ever heard?